How was that fight? Oh,
Quiet on the set, Michael G. Cox. Hey, everybody. This guy never learns. He's always talking before me, okay? It's hi, recruiting animal here. What's the date? October 20th, 2021. The guest hasn't shown up. But we don't care. We don't care. The guest is, I got a feeling he's not coming, but we'll do without him anyway. He can come back another time. We've got Dualta Doherty. Okay, now I'm going to make him mad because Dualta is a very smart guy. He's got a wonderful wife who's a little smarter than him, even. Okay, Charlotte. But they don't have a good domain name. Okay, so I wanted to be able to introduce him properly on the show, and I gave him this one. All recruiters matter. Okay, you can find his LinkedIn profile at All Recruiters Matter. He doesn't like it. I'll give him another one a different time. In the
don't do that.
meantime, if you watch this, he's there. Okay. I
Why
don't know
would you
why you
do
don't like that.
that?
What's wrong with it? Okay, because you think some recruiters are good and some recruiters are bad, right?
Yes,
Dualta?
but that's not why, dude. You don't want to harken back to BLM and All
Ah,
Lives Matter and Blue Lives
Stop.
Matter.
No,
Don't
maybe
go
that's
there.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
stop.
Okay. All recruiters matter. I thought it was funny.
Good recruiters matter.
That's what he says. Okay, so don't go there. Dualta, give us another. He can't. I bet he can't give us an alternate domain name. What's your alternate domain name, Smarty? Pants.
Ooh,
He doesn't have one. Okay.
me?
No,
No,
Dualta.
Dualta. Okay.
I
The
can find him
sales.
one in like, give me 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. The salesrecruiter.com. That's Michael G. Cox. Raise your
That
hand,
ain't so
Michael
bad.
G. Cox.
Yeah,
He's
I've
the
also
guy
got
in the.
michaelgcox.com.
Okay. But
I've got DualtaDoherty.com.
we found out the other day that in Slovenian there's no X, okay? So we don't know how to spell your name for that audience. RecruiterAl.com. Raise your hand, please.
Hey,
And
let me do. I
Clank.
gotta do a Michael G. Cox photo bomb that he did that was posted the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. I put up a
Thank you.
review. Okay. And Clang.so. I'm not going to use this guy's, this is his name, this is his product. I'm not going to do that anymore, okay? He's just Clang.so. So that's
Does he
your name on the
realize?
show.
Does he
Clang.
realize that Clang is the brother, one of the brothers in the old Saturday morning Sigmund and the Sea Monster? Kling and Clang were brothers, or something like that.
I thought they
No,
were
I didn't realize it.
from The Simpsons, the two
Oh.
aliens.
Okay.
Yeah, Clang. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
They kiss each other like sort of. I think it's a takeoff on Japanese porn. Sorry, everybody. Okay, you know what? Since I'm talking about porn, let me ask: when you're working at home on work from home, we'll go around the table. What kind of pants do you wear? I'll start first. I wear beach pants. Okay, I don't want to wear heavy jeans or anything.
Hold
I
up.
like
What are beach pants?
they're light. They're light pants with a drawstring. They're very light. They're like pajamas almost. What do you wear, Michael G. Cox? What kind of pants? Oh, shorts. He wears shorts. Okay.
Short
He's
pants.
in Texas. Dualta, what kind of pants do you wear
With
when yeah, you're disappearing. They look like gym shorts with
And shorts. Yeah.
standard wear right here.
no, but he looks like he's wearing some kind of elastic.
Oh God, flip flops. Oh no.
Hey,
no.
flip flops. These are standard business attire, and also how I discipline the children.
Oh yeah, very good.
All right.
Unless it's strap on Tuesday.
Recruiter Al, what kind of pants? You want to talk about your pants? Maybe you're not wearing any. I
No,
don't
it's
know.
Los Angeles. I wear shorts.
Oh, you shorts too, Clang? You're in Switzerland.
Same.
What are you wearing?
I'm not in Los Angeles, but I same wear as Mr. Cox and Mr.
Hey,
Fluter.
well, everybody's cash. Okay. Here's another question though. I was listening to the guest who didn't show up. I should have got in touch with him, but he's not in the group. So what can I do? I promoted him. Okay. He's got a good show. I can't remember the name of it, but
That's how
watched
good
two
it is.
well, to Recruit CRM is his business. They've got a YouTube account. That's it. And he interviews people. I was just telling Dualta how good it is. And one of his interviews, Mark McMahon, very seems like a smart guy. He said that if you are desperate, if you're in business as an agency recruiter and you are worried about how you're going to pay your rent, he said that's going to come across in the way you present yourself to clients. You're going to seem desperate. You're not going to have confidence or self assurance. And that
I just saw like a recruiter contract, no joke. It says like whatever percentage, and then it says like in the contract negotiable. Like it's like unbelievable. Right?
Ooh.
In the contract, in the written contract, it's like here, client, here's like my fee. So the fee is
that's
this.
not so
That's
bad.
like-
If you give that, if it leaves it
terrible.
open, you give me multiple offers.
But it's like
And-
immediately saying like, okay, like I will like work for half the fee, you know? It's
No,
like,
it
Yeah, but
doesn't
you know-
say that. It doesn't say that.
terrible.
Does it?
It's no, you can say it on the phone. Like if you have sympathy with the person, then you can say,
No,
blah, blah,
no,
blah. And then
I'll
for somebody,
disagree.
like,
I'm going to disagree with you. Okay,
it's like unbelievable.
Clang, that's a sucker's play. It draws into people. Hey, I can get a cheaper order. Yeah, if you give me 5 orders, I'll give you
Yes,
a
you call
cheaper
me?
order.
Hey, hold on. I have a question. I have a question. So to that comment, I'm getting a lot of calls and stuff at 10%, which I think is stupid. But I have a question because I heard a rumor and I think it's not true. Dualta and Clang. I have heard that outside of the U.S., in the U.S. it's 20-25% is very standard on contingency. Is it this? I've heard that in the UK or London, it might be as low as 10 or less because there's so many people trying to get into the business. They drop their fees. Is that true, or was that just not true?
So it's true, but higher end tech recruitment will generally be 15 to 25, depending on who you are. But in Australia, it's 12 to 17% because everybody's mates with each other. So it's such a small, close knit market that it's just impossible to negotiate rates.
Oh.
But a lot of agencies in the UK are actually recruiting for America from the UK. So they tend to follow suit with the 25%. But then on lower level areas outside of like tech and finance and high end, so like blue collar and all of that, the margins are rubbish and the fees are rubbish. So it's case by case, but it is the most saturated market in the world.
And
So-
Mario the recruiter.com
Hey,
just came
hi,
here,
hi.
and you told us last week that the fees, what's the fee, standard fee in India? 3%?
I think it's like
No, it's
12
8%.
cents.
It's 8%, and then it becomes 2% when you're very competitive. To
Okay,
3%.
hold on a second. I want to go back to what Clang said. If you put in your promo stuff that your fee is X percent, but you say negotiable, is that a bad move? Like I see it as they can reel you in on the hope that you're going to get a cheap fee, but you have to give like multiple offers or exclusives or a retainer in order to get the reduced fee. Dualta, what do you think about that? Well,
Mario
Dualta,
said 2% in
Yeah,
India.
3%
No
to 2%.
way.
Yeah, 2 to 3%. Yeah.
It's like, hey, you
Mario,
know
you
what?
look like
We're
you
just
just
going to
woke
go ahead and
up.
discount this. Just give me
Yeah,
like
yeah.
700 rupee and we're good.
does anyone want to address that issue
Sorry
about
about
what
that.
Clang just said? I found it interesting. I can pass over if no one wants to take it up.
Well, it was about fee negotiation and raising
said-
the fact that you're negotiable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just my point is don't negotiate like in an email or in like a
Yeah.
PDF. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're always just going to go, oh, negotiable. Oh, I'm going to drop 5% before I talk to this
immediately.
person.
Yeah, it's like not
Yeah.
even
So like book in the meeting, do a needs analysis, and then after that, you either do another meeting or at the end of it, if you have enough time, you put your value prop together and you show them what your pricing is. And if you want a retainer, only go for the retainer. And then
Yeah.
leave it for them to come back and say no. And if they say no, you say why. And then
And there's
it
yeah.
continues like that.
And there's a great reason for that. And it's going to sound stupid, but I'll use Harley Davidson. So Harley Davidson, you'd walk in and the price on the bike was the price you paid. And then one day before a meeting, I was real early. I walked in, I'm like, whatever, I'll just someplace to look around. And the guy says, oh yeah, no, well, and we can talk about those prices. I'm like, whoa, I've never heard you guys do that. What the heck? And they had so much inventory and so much overcapacity and demand had dropped. But it was interesting because that was a brand, it's an iconic brand, and that people paid the sticker price. Why?
Thanks for that irrelevant comment, recruiteral.com.
Oh God,
that's
he's gonna
not
take a-
irrelevant at all. That's like actually like the big brands is right.
We're
he's
not
right. Like, they
selling
never-
motorcycles.
Well,
we don't
okay,
have
well,
an
we are, like,
inventory,
fine.
okay? We don't have
Fine,
a
then
big inventory that we
Then
got to
fine,
clear.
I'll use McKinsey. Is that good enough for you, Animal?
No, that was good enough. That was
All
fine.
right.
He's just,
No,
I
we
think
get
he's
the
just
point.
messing
It's a
with
good
you.
point.
I
It's a good
just
point.
want to note that I think
Bring it.
that I think there was nothing wrong with what Clang said. I find it odd calling him Clang, but I'll do it because it saves me some breath. Maybe I'll go back to the other way. You know what? Here's a question that someone asked on my recruiting group this week. And I'm going to ask, we'll go around, Dualta first, okay? Because you place recruiters. Do recruiters object? Do they want to find out what ATS a company is using before they'll agree to interview with that company? Is it really important? Maybe they won't take a job because of the ATS, the applicant tracking system for you ignoramuses that the company's using?
No, typically it won't be. But let's say two identical opportunities came out and it came right down to a tech stack, not just an ATS. Maybe they might go with the one with a better tech stack. But
Give me an
really,
example what you mean by the tech stack. If they've got LinkedIn Recruiter versus LinkedIn Sales Navigator or something like that.
it could be everything. Like, it could be like what they use, if they have any extra sourcing tools, or if they have any video platforms that they use, or if there's usually like a drop down of 8 different things that scalable agencies
Okay,
will.
so but what you're saying, and it surprises me since you expanded the realm of choices, you're saying the technology is not that important. It can be, but it isn't always. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that it's when you're looking at an opportunity, it's way down the list past.
Whoa!
Well, if you let me finish, I'll
RecruiterAl.com. Hi,
explain.
Ernie. RecruiterAl.com. What do you think about that? Is the ATS going to be a deal breaker for a recruiter to take a job?
No, in the past, no. I would almost say if they want to use it as a negotiating point, they could. But if you want the job, it's an ATS, it's pushing buttons, it's a process, you can learn it. And, but you could use it as a negotiating point.
So what you guys are saying, hold on, since everybody's asking every day, what's the best ATS? What should I use? You're saying it's really not that significant.
Well, no, hold on.
No.
Hold on. Let me be clear.
That was a bridge too far.
And
That's true.
ATSs are various degrees of suckage, okay? And it's what can you deal with? And if you can deal with it, great. But if you're saying, I'm not going to take the job because of your ATS, well, then, you're not flexible to begin with, so take a walk.
Hey, okay.
It's never come up. It's never come
And
up.
even technical people, I must say, like, even like this is never, I just had this conversation. The candidate was like, oh, blah, 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 but we cannot have like remote access. Nobody can program like this, blah, blah. And like people complain like right before they sign like an offer, but in the end of the day, like other factors decide. Yeah. So the programmers, I always had this question, like, do I have to use like a Windows computer, blah, blah, blah. And I never saw this as like a killer. Let's say they really always complain and ask this, like, I do have to use Windows. But at the end of the day, this is never like exactly the deciding factor. And in reality, you never have two exactly the same offers. This basically.
Can I flip the question real quick, Dualta? Do you think, like all things, obviously all things being equal, would a candidate be nudged in the direction of accepting an offer if they heard that it was Luxo?
Or Clang. It's also a good ATS, by the way. I heard this.
We'll get
Clang
to that.
is just like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say Clang or Luxo. All of a sudden, would they be
Bullhorn.
more interested?
Do you know what? It never comes up. Honestly,
Okay. That's
the
what
founder, it's the founders that care about ATSs,
Yeah.
and internal recruiters. But when you get down to like consultants, they want to be like inspired by the person that they're interviewed by.
Yeah.
They want to work for a cool company. They want now they want a 4-day week. Now they want to have remote. Now they want all this other stuff. ATS would come way, way, way down.
Wow, I am blown away.
I gotta follow on.
No, you're not.
So, taking a step back from Michael G. Cox's question, would it not at least indicate what if they have Loxo, if they have Clang or whatever, versus if they have Workday or ADP, just speaks to the proactiveness of the company, and they're willing to try stuff from a broader perspective.
But it just depends on the level of person. Like, so if somebody's 26 and they're an agency recruiter and they've done a couple of years, they're not as tuned into that as somebody who's an internal recruiter who's like been through loads of scale ups and like knows all the pain points of having that stuff wrong. So It's horses for courses on it.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, somebody that had to go through like Workday or What was it? What's the other one?
Leo?
No, I
Salesforce?
forget.
Greenhouse?
Salesforce.
Optimum or
I love Salesforce.
no, forget it. I'm not gonna remember it. Go ahead.
Ernie, fix your camera, please, Uncle Ernie. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
You know, when you talk about
Wait a
ATS,
second. No, wait. I gotta. People are always challenging me. Michael G. Cox said he could come up with a URL, a domain name for Dualta 10 minutes ago. I
Oh.
haven't heard anything, right?
How about rec level up
That's
for
not-
like his training? Is it better or worse than what was
he
it? that
doesn't
you had?
have, okay, because he can't give it himself. Okay,
No.
he doesn't have. I gave
No.
him one.
We're-
I'll give you a new one in the future. Okay, I'll take back all recruiters matter. By the way,
Yeah, do that.
Linktree. Okay, Ivan, a Clang. I'm not gonna get used to it. I made it up myself, but I'm not gonna use Clang turned me on to Linktree. It's link.tr. Is that it? What's the URL? Anyway, I made up. It's all my links, mustardandrelish.com. If you give out your name,
It's linktr.ee.
It's so ridiculous, okay? Mustardandrelish.com. You'll find all my links. That's the beauty of a domain name. I can go to a party and tell you, yeah, you want to
Mustard
find
and
me
Relish.
online, mustardandrelish.com. You'll never forget it. Everybody knows about hot dogs and mustard
I'm gonna
and
get
relish.
something like your mom goes to college.com.
Yeah, I got to tell you, all recruiters matter is very memorable as well. Okay, no one will ever forget it, and they won't hate you for it. Okay, it's a nice name, but let's move on. So technology, Ernie, were you going to say something about?
yeah,
technology?
no, when you're talking about ATS, a lot of it just depends. It's kind of like asking 6 people, hey, let's go to the movies. And everybody goes off in a different direction. And you never go to the movies because it's 11 o'clock at night. No one's decided. So when you get an ATS and you're trying to decide, it's usually the lead person that decides and everybody else falls in line.
The lead person's usually not a recruiter, though. It's some HR director or something
Right,
like
but-
that.
Yeah,
It
so it
pisses
doesn't matter.
everybody off.
But somebody decides, but no matter what, everybody's always going to complain about something because
Uh-huh.
we all know that the ATSs, there's not a perfect one, although Clang is pretty close.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same
Okay,
thing. We are
everybody,
like,
the joke on Clang,
But that-
Clang.so. This
Yeah.
guy, Ivan Gulenko, who's a tech recruiter in Switzerland, he used to be a programmer himself. He came up with his own applicant tracking system. Please check it out at clang.so. You can see it in his little cube there.
it's optimized it for several users, so it just works now for several people.
Okay, clang.so. Dualta, do you want to promote anything? Your mastermind group?
Yeah. Join my mastermind group, please.
Tell them what it is. People don't know.
We have an advisory practice for recruitment founders where we take them through a 6-month program. We also have another advisory practice that we run for more scalable firms where we help them with point solutions within their business, whether that's tech, operations, winning business, scaling out their team. And yeah,
And you bring in outsiders to lecture like Richie Rich Rosen, okay? His wife, who's a guest on the show, Charlotte Doherty, she also handles these things as well, right?
Yeah, so we've sessions every 2 weeks where we solve their problems. We then get in group sessions with.
If you want to find them,
people like-
allrecruitersmatter.com for now. Okay, you'll have a new domain in the future. Anybody else want to promote something? Thesalesrecruiter.com, Michael G. Cox, foodindustryrecruiter.com, Ernie, Uncle Ernie
Yeah, I
Marino.
want to promote that I'm hiring sales executives on the earth, like everywhere.
And recruiterl.com. Okay, so we decided, okay, what about this question? Why would you leave? Is that a good question to ask people? Because one of these famous recruiters, she's famous in the IT world. She said it's a stupid question because only the most naive people will tell you why they want to leave. Because if there's a bad reason, they don't want to hear you bad mouthing the old company because they'll think, oh, you're going to do it to me too. So it's just an invitation to lie. Don't ever ask that question. why would you want to take a look at something else? Michael G. Cox, are you with her or against her?
I have no problem asking the question, but
You want to
it's
find their
just-
pain point.
I want to know if, and maybe it would be for comparison purposes. You know, I hated the pay. Oh, well, this one pays less, so we're kind of done. And so if what they are trying to leave, the push things, the things that are pushing them out of the organization exist where you're trying to recruit them to, then yeah, that type of line of questioning makes sense.
Dualta.
Yeah, you want to get to the root cause of everything. So find out what their drivers are and then try and shape your offer in those drivers and get everybody on site to sell that and make some money.
Anybody else?
Well, you want to find out
100%.
too, because there's going to be a counter offer. And you want to remind them, if it's just money, then that's a different battle than if there's
Okay,
how they're
Ernie's, I'll
treated,
just remember,
opportunity.
I know Ernie's not like Jerry, okay? I'll tell you what Ernie said last time, and he won't deny it. He said, if you have a candidate who is mostly interested in money, first make them go back and ask for a raise, okay? Before you'll deal with them. I don't agree with that, but that's what Ernie says.
I love
And-
that. Because here's the thing, you are removing the, I've got another offer waiting and I want you to beat this. That's it removed from the
But
equation.
the person, Michael G. Cox, the person was probably already afraid to upset the apple cart by asking for a raise. So she is not gonna put her neck out for you, okay?
But that
Here's the
just-
thing, and if she doesn't, then clearly it's almost going to drive home the point that you need to get out. There's lots of psychology behind forcing them or asking them to go ask for more if the money's the issue.
Okay, two
I like
questions
it.
there. Does anybody agree with Ernie about telling them to go and ask for more money before you'll deal with them?
That's
Flushing the
genius.
system.
It's
It-
even like you basically also increase your reputation as a recruiting agent, that you're not like a needy, like weird person who just needs to like place them somewhere, but it's like, hey, just do first your own thing. I mean, I do this with clients as well. They're like, hey, we need this blah blah lead manager, CTO, CEO, something. Then I'm like, hey, have you asked like all of your friends if they maybe want to join your company? Because what I don't want is like make this stupidly complicated search. And they're like, hey, actually, I hired my friend. So just in the first meeting, destroy actually my own business, kinda. I just tell them, hey, have you really thought about everyone who is good in your network? And have you asked like the investors maybe the same thing? So please clarify this first, and then we make this very expensive headhunt. So here's like the same with the candidate.
Anybody else? Two issues there. There's this telling them to go back and ask for more money or whatever else it is they want before you're going to deal with them. Anybody else want to address that? Okay. No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell them to go back. Once they're in my web, I want them to start moving in a certain direction. I don't want them to go. I know. fuck
But
that.
Ernie says you can't count
way.
on them. They're going to stab you in the back when it comes to the offer, because then they're vulnerable to getting more money from.
Well, let's go back and just say, if money is their only driver,
That's a
the only
different
reason
thing.
for
though.
leaving the company, and you don't hear anything else, and they just tell you, Dualta, I need more money.
All things being equal. Yep.
Then you just say, you know what, go ask for more money because you want to use that later on.
I
when
know, I
they-
understand.
if
I
they-
understand
if they
that,
can-
but like, if you dig and you get that there's more than money, don't send them back. Don't send them away because somebody else is going to place them.
Yeah, but he said there's no more than money. That's the condition, the qualifier he put on it. What about this other thing that
In
Jill,
Ernie's long career, that's probably happened twice.
what's
It doesn't happen very
What
often.
about this famous IT recruiter's advice? Never ask, why would you want to leave? Why would you look at something else? She'll say you'll never get a true answer. No one wants to hear you say that your boss is an idiot, okay? Because they think
Well,
you're
the
going
thing
to do
is,
the
you
same
never
thing
get
to
a
them.
true answer to basically anything. Like this is the like how people are, this is like a truism. So like
Well, I don't know what I can't speak exclusively for recruiting Americans, but in the rest of the world, you do ask them that if you're a recruiter, because what you're saying is, hey, I'm not going to tell this to the client, but between us, I need to understand where you're at and what it is. So just be honest with me. Tell me what the stuff is, because I'll make sure that we have it right on this side.
How can they trust you that you're not going to knock them out for saying, oh, you're too negative? I don't like her. She's complaining about her Right? And she gave examples. She gave examples from her own career. She was the lead tech recruiter. She was the manager of the tech recruiting department in one company. When the director of recruiting position came in, they wouldn't even interview her. She left. I think it was a wise move, but she says she wouldn't tell anybody else that because they'd knock her out.
You know,
I don't know.
the thing of asking that question is sometimes when you hear the answer, they can be very brutal. The candidate can, and they could say things very stupidly, and you have to coach them as to how to say
Okay.
it properly.
You mean if you don't ask them, the employer is going to
He's
ask
going to
them,
ask them,
and they're
they
not
can say,
prepped. Hey,
yeah, you
that's
know,
good.
That's a
then-
great
and
I coach
if
point,
there's-
them
Ernie.
all
if
the
there's
time
ang-
on that topic.
Yeah, and if there's anger there or anything else, you just tell them, you got to bring it down a little bit. This is how you should say it. Let me give you another example of how you can say the same thing. And a lot of times they go, yeah, I like that. I can say that.
Yeah, and then they never fucking do. They always
Yeah.
cock it up anyway.
But you know,
Ernie wins. Anybody else?
No, you
wanna-
have to make them like tell this back to you or something. Like it's true. Like I mean, it does help. Like this training stuff. This is like the free work that we do, right? Like at the end of the day, there's the commission and stuff. But like you do this, like you have the choice. You do this like investment. You coach the candidate, or you do nothing. Basically, you're paid kind of the same, but also not. I think this is like where you distinguish between like the really big billers and the not big billers, because long term it will show. And some of the candidates, they will follow your advice. I had it a couple of times actually. We had a presentation, so it was like final, some researcher position, and I'm like, okay, show me your presentation that you will give tomorrow to like 20 people. And then he gives the presentation, and I'm like, dude, just do the result that you gave in the end, give it at the introduction in the beginning, because this will catch everybody's attention. And then because he practiced it with me one time, the next day, tomorrow, like I was in the actual call as well with the client. And this was perfect. This was complete, like 1,000 times better presentation, just because the person practiced it one time. Yeah. For me, it was a time investment of 20 minutes, but it improved the presentation to 20 people, like tremendously, right? So this small
but
things as a recruiter
Dualta says it doesn't work like that well
no,
for
he
him.
said that like sometimes they will not do it. It's true. Like sometimes they will not follow and like really
One
like
practice
listen to
is
you.
not enough. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but like
it is
depends on
our
the
job to-
person. Like some
Yes, it
people are not
is.
coachable.
Yeah, our job is like my title of my first job in recruitment was recruitment consultant. So we're taught to recruit, but we're taught to consult as well. And that's like it's our job to consult. So but they might not listen, but it's still our job to do it.
Okay. I've got a question about sales. Okay. There was this typical argument: is recruiting sales? No, it's not sales. So here's the way I would put it: is recruiting just passing on information, or is it or is sales just conveying relevant information? So you call someone up, say, I've got this position, these are the nice things about it. If they raise an objection, you point out where what's relevant there, or is it sort of a more determined intent to turn someone around, okay, to persuade them when they say no? I've heard all your arguments. This isn't for me. But then you go in. It's sort of like that determination. Okay, I see Al sort of perked up. Am I right about that? When I said, does anybody else want to talk about the art of persuasion? Is that the key to sales? Nobody? I think it is.
I think when you talk to people, you have to get them to understand that they are interviewing the company as well. And a lot of people seem to think that the company's interviewing me. And if there's any doubt, you want that doubt to go to the second step so they get the answers.
Well, Ernie, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about us persuading candidates. Okay,
That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. You're trying to persuade a candidate, right? And the candidate says, "I don't want to go." And then you try to get them to understand it. Is this an opportunity you may like? Well, I may like it, but I don't think so. At that point, you then kind of move it towards it's an interview that you're on the market. You're talking to me for a reason. Please, if you talk to these guys, why don't you figure it out for yourself, whether or not you think this is a great opportunity for you or not.
Okay, but that's with a job hunter, not with a passive candidate. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, with a passive candidate, but even with a job hunter, a lot of times they say, I may not want to move. And that's something you hear all the time now.
You mean
So-
physically move like to a new
Yeah,
region?
like go from
or from
Indiana
one
to-
employer to another?
Yeah, or from one state to another state or
That's
whatever.
complicating. That's complicating it. Relocation is another issue. Does anyone want to talk about or with the Ernie's assessment of his rebuttal is, I know you don't think you're interested, but find out. Don't take my word. Go and talk to them. Is anybody want to take that up?
I think
it's a good one.
more than doing persuasion, because it sounds kind of slick, is just what I tend to do is just map out the conversations that we're going to be having over the next several days. And it's like tiny little baby steps. Look, just give me 5 minutes. I'll explain. If it makes sense, we continue the conversation. And then I start mapping out the process. And I make it a point to tell them up front and in the middle and at the end. This is a very long, drawn out process, even if it's going to be really quick. And we're going to have several steps along this where you're going to learn more about the opportunities and the organizations that I represent. And if it makes sense, we continue the conversation. At any point, we can stop. But I think some of the things that we say that are persuasion, it's really just taking those little baby steps and micro actions, however you want to call it, just to break it down and make it easier to take that next little
Hold
baby
on.
step.
I'm not understanding. Are you saying essentially the same thing as Ernie? Look, go in there
Yes.
and see over a number of
But-
meetings if it's something. Don't make a hasty decision.
No,
That's essentially
Because
what-
rather than trying to pull somebody out of where they're at, their current state, and try and quickly move them into something else or get them to start thinking about something else totally different, it's like a shock to the system. And their immediate response is to retreat to the status quo.
So to break that down, they're both right. So to break that down,
Can
recruiting.
I get that drop? Can I get that quote right there that he just said? Can you send me that clip?
Yeah.
We're recruiting. Like it's a sales cycle, right? And
Yes.
there's
And it takes time.
and what he's saying is map out that journey, and there will be elements that you will be selling to them, but because you've mapped out all the journey, you're influencing along the way in a consultative manner. Whereas the old perception of what we do is we cold call and we objection handle all the time. That's gone. Those days are over. Like it's a much more nuanced approach now.
Yeah. I don't understand a word you said. Okay.
I did, and that's all that
I
matters.
did.
It's okay.
If I didn't understand anybody.
That's a
who
good
watches-
point.
Can
Yeah.
somebody translate sales cycle to recruiting animal, please? Because I'm fucking lost.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Here he says, you don't get on the phone. If they raise
Didn't
objections,
say that.
No, you get on the phone rather, but you don't get on the phone and attack their objections. That's what you said.
Yeah,
Don't
you
get
do
on the
need
phone
to,
and attack
you
their
need
objections.
analysis. You map out the journey. You consult along the way, and you sell when you have to sell. But you don't just go in and go blah 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 blah, trying to persuade somebody that you don't know anything about, that you don't know what they want, and you can't influence them, and you can't educate them. You can't
Okay.
consult to them.
Okay. So
You
hold
don't
on a
attack, you
second.
Don't be a car
discuss, you
salesman.
discuss.
You hold on a second. You call someone up. Hi, I'm a recruiter. I'm working on some positions that might be of interest to you, but let's have a chat first to see if so I can get to know you a bit, right?
Sorry,
so
I'm
then-
busy. I thought we were playing a game. Sorry.
Okay, well, that
Just call
kills you
him
right there.
Amy.
How's he going to get his chance to
Dress
find
on.
out about the person's needs and wants when they say that? Sorry, I'm busy. What's your response, Dualta? What do you say then?
Why'd you answer?
Dualta, I'm asking you. If you call up and with the intention, I'm going to tell them about,
He
I want
hung
to
up.
find
He
out all
hung up.
about them, and
Did
they
he,
cut
did he
you
hang
short.
up? Did he?
He
He's
said he
talking to
didn't
you.
hang up. He says, no, I don't want to talk about it. I'm busy right now. Okay, what
He
do you
says-
do?
He tells him go to hell and he hangs up.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't.
I would be
Where did Al just disappeared? Go ahead.
So I would be more nuanced before that point. I would have a bit more education on the person in terms of
How?
what their drivers are.
How?
I would have hit them up. I would have hit them up on LinkedIn first. Hopefully, I would have got some content in front of them. Maybe they might already be in one of my communities, and they would
Look
hopefully.
at all the qualifiers this guy gives to back up. He's not. I'm not cold calling the guy in the
Okay,
end.
you know
okay?
what? Let's not use DeWalta as an example because you think that he's the whole recruiters thing is kind of like a prerequisite to this kind of success. The overwhelming majority of the individuals that I'm speaking with have not applied for jobs that I posted, and they are all primary connections. So they've probably already received a few messages from me.
Yeah, we know you're.
So no, but it's the same thing. He's been prepping his people with messages with something.
So you guys are also the nurture a network before you need to talk to these people. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Even if you call them cold, it's how you handle it there. When they tell you I'm not interested, then you try to get some sort of conversation back, and you try to be polite, and most people will talk to you.
I don't sound as relaxed as you, Ernie. That's what I like about you. You sound so relaxed. That's not me, okay?
Yeah, it's like,
the answer that you're looking for that Rich normally gives is he calls them, they say they're not interested, and then he just keeps on asking them questions, and then he starts talking to them, and then he controls them.
It's because just the last word is what registered.
Yeah.
They said interested. Huh?
I know.
Oh, sweet.
I know.
Excellent. Let me tell you about this.
So,
is that American way?
Yeah, too bad he's not here. And I thought Al would back me up on this. It's too bad I didn't ask him sooner. Anybody else want to talk about that, or we beat that to death now? No,
No, just
Yeah, I think
every
so.
recruiter
Hey,
has
I've
their
got a quick
personalities.
question.
It's like, look, Ernie is the kindest, like possible human here. On like Michael G. Cox is really like he has this passion and this like almost romantic way of talking. Yeah, and Walter is really like
like a Latin
precise.
stripper.
Is like exactly the
Yeah,
facts.
It's
Everybody
for the
has their
Latino
style,
culture.
Oh yeah, okay, I forgot. Everything's good. If it's Mexican, yeah, I forgot.
Crap,
you
this
guys.
is going to be on Facebook and YouTube and
You know what? But
LinkedIn.
hold on. I was waiting, listening to somebody with my finger on my nose. I mean, come on, they could take a still of me and put it all over the internet. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Who does such a thing?
Yeah. Okay. Here's what
Hey,
someone.
Ernie, real quick question regarding Lead Delta. Have all of your connections updated already? Because
No, they haven't. It takes, you got to keep it open, and they'll probably go at a maximum about 600 a day.
What are you talking
okay.
about now? Okay, about some tool. Tell us about it. Come on, that's a good subject for talking.
Lead Delta basically just takes all of your first degree connections from LinkedIn and puts them on a kind of like a spreadsheet, basically, which is it's just a connections manager. And then it goes back in once it has all of your list. Then it goes back in and pulls all of their contact information, emails, phone numbers. And then you can do like bulk messaging from there, or up to 25 messages. And you can do
and you're putting yourself at risk on LinkedIn. I saw you guys talking about it on Facebook.
probably a little bit. Yeah. I'm sure I'll get slapped on the hands, but by then I will have already downloaded everything. And
you're not interested in Lead Delta, right? Lead Delta, ever heard of it? No.
when I download everything, I actually get URLs. LinkedIn won't even give you the URLs to to your connections.
Okay. Well, don't have a side discussion with Ernie about it without explaining to everybody what you're doing. This is a show, okay? What about this? This woman posted, I'm going to read it to you. Internal recruiters are more efficient because we know our jobs very well and therefore have a better understanding of what it takes to fill them. Many agency recruiters just send over a bunch of people to see who sticks.
But you have to also qualify that she said she used to be an agency recruiter, and now she understands why the corporate recruiter is so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that, and it kind of bothered me because I was wondering, like, is she an agency recruiter that worked for somebody? Is she now a corporate recruiter for the last 30 days?
Okay, she's been around longer. You're trying to kick her out for false reasons. I'll give a good response. Someone said to her, you know the hiring managers better, not the jobs. Agency recruiters have to test their client to see what works because the hiring managers, this is a quote, are usually garbage. Okay. She meant the hiring manager, they don't know anything about the market. They've got these ridiculous demands, and the agency recruiter has to figure out, does this person know what she's talking about, and get a lot more information in the intake session. They said that's the difference. Does anybody else want to say?
I used to do the same thing when I was internal. Sorry, go ahead, Dalta.
I think they're completely different skills. Like you have to have better administration skills to work internal. Like in agency land, like you're so worried about where your next deal's coming from, that sales pressure. Whereas in there, you're worried about servicing the people that you're required to. I feel that they're different personalities.
They sounded like the same. An agency recruiter has to service their clients as well. I mean, you didn't.
No, they can choose to tell them where to go, and they can get new.
You know what? Nobody really wants to do that. Even Rich, I'll bet he doesn't do it as much as he claims to.
Yeah, but the power structure is completely different. Like if you
I've done it a couple times in a year and a half or 2 years.
Hold on, let's give Klang a chance. Go ahead.
Like basically, like if you work somewhere, then you're like in a family, right? It's like the hiring managers is like your uncles, and you have like have a good relationship, and there's politics, and there's maybe this or that. But like if you're an agency recruiter, your clients, they're like very I mean, there can be relationships as well, but they're always like really clear. Like you get this value and you pay this price, and then the relationships that grow out of that. I mean, I have clients who are friends, and I'm like super happy about it. Rich is the same. Like they are like kind of. Then I try to like not talk about work while we do like some like jogging or something like that. And
I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, I don't know what you're saying. Okay.
So basically, the relationship,
you're like a family in a corporation.
Yes,
families hate each other. Okay, that doesn't make it easier.
Yeah, but like
I don't want to be treated like family,
it's
man.
It's much more. Hey. It's much more. You're like you cannot like say, oh, this is not my mom. Same in a company. If you work in a company, you can say like, this is not my boss. But with you, like it's like this, It's like, or you change the job, but for most people, it's like too scary. They like rather stay where they are for 10 years.
I think DeWalta said something that I've always believed. They're two different jobs. They shouldn't have the same title. They're not recruiters in the same way.
You're wrong, Ernie. It's okay.
You're wrong. You're wrong, and your family reunions must be crazy. But
we don't have them. We don't have them. Okay.
No, they're two different. They're two different kinds. And then your background determines how well you know the folks you're dealing with. And a lot of times, if you're a young person, few years, you go from agency and you go to internal, all of a sudden you're fascinated because now you got this big company that you can recruit for. You recruit for Amazon, you recruit for Frito. People are going to pick up your calls.
We have the call actually with Amy about this topic on the
10th of November. This guy thinks he's going to fight with Amy about that. You're going to get slaughtered in the first 2 minutes. I'm gonna tell you. Okay.
You're mentioning
Ernie's on my side.
No, Klang.
Nobody going to be on your side that
day. Yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, but they're two different jobs.
I'm moving on. Ernie, you're not going to push me. You're not going to push me. Here's a good question. I like this one. What does everybody think about taking on two clients that are direct competitors? They're looking for similar types of people, engineers and executives. Is it fair if you're recruiting for company A and you're doing the same kind of search for company B at the same time? Is that fair? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. DeWalta is nodding his head. That means yes.
DeWalta's the guest. Go ahead.
He's not the guest.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it first from a contingent perspective. If we have a contingent relationship, you're paying me 25% to find you somebody. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm finding the 7 other places that want the exact same person. And when I find that person, I'm going to control all their interviews. And I'm going to make sure that I get a deal at one of these places. And that candidate number 2 goes to another one, and candidate number 3, and so on, so forth. And the percentage of close is better.
Yes. I didn't understand. Sorry, you got 3 candidates. You send them out to all 7 companies, or you
Michael, can you explain it to him? I think.
Okay, but what is if retained? No, we all understand.
I have one of these.
What you said. But what if it's retained? This is the interesting question. What if it's retained? Then it's really a bit of a problematic question, right?
Then it comes down to your terms, right?
I've
And
got two of
they
those
need
right
to
now.
they need to have first rejection.
Okay, I have
exactly.
two of those right now in the same industry, direct competitors, and they overlap in markets. And
retained?
so
Are they
it's
both
been
like
interesting.
they prepaid you? Like
Yes.
you asked for retainer. So what do you do now? Like
You know-
tell us.
I talked to
Michael
a client
J.
about
Cox.
both. I talked to a candidate about both organizations and try and lay it out and find out which organization, which opportunity makes most sense for that individual and act accordingly.
And also
then
with
if
the,
it's
under,
rejected,
with the
you go to
understanding
the
that you're not going to take from one company and put them in the other, your client.
Yeah, of
company.
course. Imagine that. That would be
Sending them
sadistic.
back and
That's
forth,
evil.
making all kinds of money.
Yeah, but hold on a second. No, I don't understand. Hold on. What did Dualta say since he left it for you guys to explain to me?
He
Said,
basic-
wait a
he
second. No,
basically-
let me hear what this is what I understood so you can correct me. He tells the client in advance, look, I'm recruiting for other companies that are just like you. Okay. And so all of my candidates are going to be at all these other places. You're
implicit.
competing with them. Does he say, no, there's no implicit stuff. Does he tell them yes or no? No, right? He doesn't tell his clients.
You don't tell anyone who your clients are. No.
You don't give your clients out, but you say I'm sending them out to similar companies.
Well,
Right?
this is a niche I recruit for. I recruit for the bakery companies. I recruit for
But
the
you
IT.
tell them in advance that you're not giving them exclusive interviews with the same candidates. This
If they're
candidate,
contingent, of course you're telling them, hey,
Well,
you want me to send them? Oh, yeah, no.
they don't understand that. The client it doesn't understand that.
Some do.
They-
Some are some do.
My two clients understand that, and they're both retained. How weird is that?
Did you tell them? That's
Yeah,
what client
I
asked.
got one from the other. I can't say who it is, but
The one referred the
What
other.
do you mean I
He said-
got one
Yes.
from the other?
Okay, well that's a special
The-
you got a
situation.
referral.
the president
special
here
situation.
said, hey, I heard this company's hiring. You should talk to such and such.
That's a special. You guys raise all these special situations when you don't want to answer.
I've never
Great.
heard of an unspecial situation.
In
Everything
recruitment,
is
exactly that.
I'm
Everything
giving
is
them to you.
special.
I'm giving them to you.
yeah, but yours are hypothetical. Let's talk about a real situation.
Well,
Yeah,
let's have
it's
Dewalta's back here.
true.
Dewalta,
Animal,
let
you're
me
too
see if I
hypothetical.
understood you. You're going to answer, okay? When you get a client, do you tell that client, look, you tell them up front, I'm going to be sending these candidates to other companies, related companies that might be able to use them. At the same time, I'm sending them to you. So you're going to have to compete with my other clients. Is that what you said? That you tell the companies that?
If they ask,
Okay, you don't tell them, in other words, right?
But
Well, if it-
they know
yeah.
if it's a contingent search that you're not working just for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
And if
even
they
know
don't
that
know.
if it's
They don't know.
if it's retained.
Now, if you're,
Are you saying like a retained client actually thinks that
No.
I'm spending 45 hours a day just on their search?
They might.
well,
Okay.
but what if you're a contract recruiter for that company?
I just
Oh,
signed a
that's
contract where I'm
different.
giving them 2 hours of my time.
No, but say there's some that require 40 hours, right? They say you're an
You negotiate that.
employee. You're not an internal recruiter. You're a contract employee. You're a contract person, recruiter, and you get no benefits, but I'm paying you X amount of money, and you're a 1099. So
You have to
There-
negotiate that, and
there
I
you're
would
very-
I would be hesitant to sign a
No.
full-time contract unless I had
yeah, but
nothing else
people
going
do.
on.
People do. It
yeah,
exists
I would
out
put
there.
somebody else in that, and I'd be using the leftover resumes to service everybody else as well.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, here's what I thought the best answer. These clients, they think nothing of hiring two recruiters to work on the same job. Okay. So there's no reason why they should expect any loyalty from you. That's a pretty good one, right?
Yeah,
no,
of course.
well, everybody agrees to that.
No, I don't think they know because the issue was raised. How would it look if either of your clients found out that you were working with the other? If the candidate's in there and says, I'm also interviewing with your competition, Michael G. Cox sent me out there as well. Okay.
It's
I
assumed.
thought
it's
Michael G.
assumed-
Cox was working for me.
No, but it's assumed that they know you're in that industry, that niche. And they'll ask you if it's a new client, they say, do you recruit for plant managers in food companies? You go, yes, okay, fine, let's go to work.
Okay. In other words, you, Ernie, are stabbing me in the back by sending out this candidate to my competition at the same time as you're sending her out to me. Some people are going to see it that way.
Yeah, okay. I had a client that wouldn't work with me because I hadn't done enough work with their competitors.
Okay. Well,
America, see,
I've
this
been in that
America. You
position as
Canadian,
well.
you have funny mind. Like I knew it in the beginning. This
Yeah,
is like how
maybe.
you do it.
Okay. You know what? I won't claim everything that is wrong with me with other Canadians. Okay. I'm just not like that. Okay.
But you know, the bottom line to it is that the employer is just saying, send me people. I need to hire somebody right now. Find me somebody. And you send them to them. They'll look at them. They'll discard them. They'll interview them. Whatever. Depends
Okay,
on how
but they don't
quickly
get first dibs. No contingent client gets first dibs on anybody. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, unless there's some special financial arrangement that you make with them.
See, but I think you guys are making a mistake. You think people know how recruiters work, be it client or candidate. They don't know. Okay. They
Some
don't
don't.
understand.
But some do. Some do. Some don't.
We don't have to educate them on all of that. Like, I mean, we've given them a shot at interviewing that person. Great.
Let's put it very bluntly. They don't even know how to find a phone number. And they don't know all the little tools that we have. And whenever you mention it to somebody, they go, really? You can do that? Yeah. They don't know the word. I call it the underground. When you get into recruiting, you start digging in, you start finding phone numbers. And when you're talking to your friends, you can pull up a tool and say, hey, did you live at this address? Yeah. How in the hell did you know all that stuff?
Yeah, they don't know. Their friends don't know what Boolean search is. That's for sure. Listen to this. This recruiter, she actually got an offer from a company. She said it's too low. And so the internal recruiter said, look, I'm going to get you, will you take it at this other salary? And she said, yes. And so that recruiter made the offer, couldn't get it confirmed by higher ups. Okay. Even though he sort of gave the candidate the impression that it was a go. So Amy said, I would never commit to an offer I couldn't print out. It's got to be in writing before it's real. Everybody agree with that? Anybody? No interest? Okay.
No, that was easy. Yes.
Does
Why
anybody
would
else?
you-
Does anybody else want to raise an issue? There's still. Geez, the time is gone already. We're almost done. Anybody else want to say something? There's only
I
4
agree.
minutes.
I agree with what Amy said.
Does anybody, Dualto, do you have anything you want to say about recruiting that's been troubling you, or that you think people are really interested in? No, I can tell you look satisfied. You have that satisfied look. I'll just do the introductions again. Dualta, the guy I have to find another domain name for so you can find him on LinkedIn. He's over there. He trains recruiters, okay? And he and his wife do it. They're a team, and they're a great team, okay? Dualta, D-U-A-L-T-A, Doherty.
We
The
advise
sales-
recruitment finders. We don't
What?
train recruiters. That's different.
What do you do?
We advise
Founders.
train
Oh,
recruiters.
founders. Okay, founders. He's got an accent, everybody. Sorry.
founders.
Look who,
Michael
look
G.
who just
Cox.
bit his lip.
Michael G. Cox, thesalesrecruiter.com. Ernie, food industry recruiter, everything in food production. Actually, senior people and plant managers and supervisors and up. Okay. And Klang, KLANG.SO. He made an ATS and he'd like to show it to you. Everybody lean in and smile. So, Michael G. Cox, he's always complaining about the pictures I post. Yeah, I'll post that, Michael G. Cox. Bye, everybody. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Bye.